Hi everyone and welcome. Ho ho ho. Let's get some light on the subject, shall we? Alright. So, I don't know about you, but this time of the year, with all the stresses and issues that we have going on in the world and in our own lives, this is Christmas Eve, and I know a lot of people are busy wrapping gifts and hopefully not out doing too much shopping. It's scary out there. But I thought I would talk about taking care of yourself, maybe even being a bit extravagant with yourself. And one of the ways you can do that is with a gentle and yet effective body scrub. I've made these for years. I always sell out when I make this one in particular. But I have actually changed this one up a little bit because the base is going to be my own olive oil liquid soap. It is absolutely 100% Castile liquid soap. And this is a mix that I've always enjoyed putting together. It won't stay looking like this. It's cold in here, and it always clouds up like that when it's cold. And that's because it doesn't have any stabilizers or the things that some of the soaps that you'll get at the grocery store might have. But it's a small price to pay for something pure and simple. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is describe some of the ingredients in here. Well, of course, I've already mentioned the Castile liquid soap, but there are going to be 3 different exfoliants in here. I'm going to start with coconut sugar. This is a very finely ground organic coconut sugar, so something very, very small. It is good for doing the final part of the exfoliation. The larger products will take off the larger flakes of dead and dry skin, and the coconut sugar will be more of a polish for the skin. So I think it's important to play with different sizes until you find what works for you. This is what I found works for me. This is an organic Texas sugar. It is actually a brown sugar that was raw sugar that has been crystallized. Smells delicious. It really does have a wonderful smell. And the coconut sugar, too, has a wonderful smell to it. Finally, toasted almonds. These will add, you've probably used almond scrubs before. Almond-based scrubs, they are very gentle. Of course, not like this. If I put these in there directly, that would not feel good on the skin. So I've actually got my grinder here, so I'm going to chop these up into a fine powder. So let me do that. There we go. All right. So I'm going to get these in my grinder here. Except I just did something goofy. I turned my cup upside down and dropped them. There we go. I've already made up about 60 jars of this because it sells so well locally. So this is just a smaller test batch, or a smaller batch. I just want to show you all how I make it. So first thing we're going to do is grind up our almonds. Now we're going to put this together. So I'm going to start with our coconut sugar here, and I'm just putting it all in. You can play with proportions. I go with what I know works for me. All right, I'm going to now add in about 2 tablespoons of golden jojoba oil. Again, doesn't have to be exact, but there are some proportions you want to be aware of. You want to be very careful with your liquids, especially because it's easy to have too much liquid and then you end up with your sugars all dissolving. It can be kind of a mess. I'm now going to add in just a few drops of olive oil, of vitamin E. Just keeps that jojoba oil from going rancid. Keep in mind that something very important for you to remember is that vitamin E is not a preservative. Okay, it's already starting to solidify on me here, so I want to make sure I get it good and mixed here. Vitamin E is not a preservative. A preservative prevents things like bacteria and fungus and various types of nasty things from growing that can come from water. Well, we're not adding water, but the Castile soap is made from water base. It's water and olive oil, basically, and your potassium hydroxide, which is your lye, which is what turns your olive oil and water into a liquid soap, as opposed to sodium hydroxide we use in our bar soaps. All right, so what I'm doing now is I'm just introducing the Castile soap into the individual grains of the sugar and the almond, ground almonds, excuse me. I like this to be a very thick, heavy mixture. The jojoba oil adds very nice moisture to it. Now, this is, of course, a rinse-off product. It's a scrub. But I still think it's important, because this stays on your skin longer than bar soap does, that jojoba oil has an opportunity actually to help seal in moisture. And just rinse off, I'll do a demonstration here in just a moment of the product and how it's going to be packaged for use, because there's still one more ingredient that I'm going to add. But I just wanted to get this kind of chopped a bit before I put it into containers, but we'll talk more about that in a bit. So I'm just kind of breaking it all up here. Just mixing it, and this container here, I've kind of got overfilled. So you can definitely go to a bigger bowl. Here, let me make that happen. Just wanted to be able to spread it out a bit more so you could see what we're working with here. I know it's a little hard in this type of dish here. And it makes it easier for me to just make sure everything is mixed. Now you can alternately use something along the lines of this, which is a potato smasher, just to break it up and mix it up a bit. Find the tools that work best for you. All right, so the final ingredient that I add right at the very end is a bit of fresh honey. And when I say fresh, this is fresh. It's just from the hive this week. So I'm going to work on getting this all combined. And again, you can take your time. I find the process of making these sort of things as relaxing as I do making soaps. It's enjoyable to me to make them. Oh, and by the way, a question that some will ask, if they haven't already asked, why do you wear gloves with some things and not with others? And that's a good question, and I understand it. And are gloves better? Are wearing gloves more sanitary than your bare hands? Sometimes, and not always. Now, what do I mean by that? If you've properly washed and sanitized your hands by washing them for 2 minutes, that's right, 2 minutes, with lots of agitation, cleaned under your nails, made sure that any loose hairs on your hands or your body is scraped away, and you've taken those precautions, it is just as clean as wearing a brand new sterile pair of gloves, or very close to it. And on the opposite end of that spectrum, if you have a pair of gloves on, that doesn't necessarily mean they're clean. I have seen people wearing gloves wipe their nose or touch their face and then touch a tray of food just recently in a restaurant. That doesn't suggest that gloves are not a good idea. But if you're not changing those gloves or thoroughly cleaning the gloves as well, it's as if you're not even wearing any at all. So there can be benefits, absolutely. Do I want people to wear gloves when preparing my food? Absolutely. But do I think that that is the only option? No. Oh, and by the way, an ingredient I didn't mention here that I added, I came back and I forgot to turn the camera on. There is also a cup of sea salt in here, which also adds an additional benefit of exfoliation with all these other ingredients. It just gives you an opportunity to get even more from your scrub. All right, so I've almost got this completely mixed here. I just want to make sure, I take my time, I want to make sure that honey is well incorporated. If you just get a glob of honey, it's just going to be sticky. Of course, you're dealing with a mostly sugar scrub here. Like I said, the salt is a very small percentage here. And sugars obviously are going to be sticky. But that's okay. It's a scrub. It's designed to scrub the skin and then be rinsed away. So once we've got this completely mixed, then we're gonna pack this. When I say pack it, yep, pack it. This is a solid scrub. It will be very solid, but I'm gonna show you it's all in the packaging to make sure that it's easily usable by you or your customer. So let's move on to that next step. All right, so I've got it about as well mixed as I can, because I also did mention to you that I added, of course I'll put all the ingredients on the screen, because I just don't remember, in the way I edit videos and the camera being turned on and off, I just don't remember to come back and tell you things. But this also has almond extract in it, because anything that I put almonds in like this, I just want it to have that almondy aroma to it. And because it's so very gentle, I don't know, I think it's just perfect for this mix. Of course, you can custom mix these sort of things to your own desire. You could add peppermint oil, you could add lavender, you can do whatever you want. And you can play with the ingredients and, as I said, the proportions. If you want it more liquidy, if you want it more dry, if you want it more anything, that is to your liking. I'm going to be using these darling little honey jars with the cork lid These, I think, are just so much fun for things like this. It's pretty in the bathroom, and it takes such a small amount of this when you're doing your scrubbing. It doesn't need to be a large amount. And I'm just going to feed it in like so. And earlier I mentioned packing. Oop. Don't worry about being messy. You can clean the outside of the jar very easily. Now, you want to leave space, if you're using this type of a jar, for the cork top to go in, so you don't want to overfill, but you do want to push out any of these pockets or anything at all that you want it good down in there. That way you're giving more value to your customer as well. And actually, switching to a smaller spatula can help you when getting down in there. A bit more. I like to go right up to the lip without blocking that cork top. I want to get a good fit. I want to make sure that I bang it down a bit, just like we do with any other of our ingredients, to make sure it fills in any little gaps. There's a little bit there. We can just bang it down. If you need to, you can press down a bit just to get any air bubbles that may be down in the bottom out. Welcome back, everyone. So this is how I package them up. I simply pop a label on top and then tie one of the little spoons to the side of the jar. Now let me walk you through how I would use it. Doesn't take very much water for this demonstration, a couple cups. Since we're not doing a full hand wash here, although I will do that afterwards. So, remove your spoon. Dig out as much as you think you need. It doesn't take very much. Now in this case, I'm moistening my hands. You can use it dry right on the skin if you like. But I just wanted to show you how, because we're using the Castile soap, it's not going to be as bubbly as it would be if it were like a coconut soap, but this isn't about bubble. This is about being able to use a nice scrub and have it rinse off great. So we remember this has the jojoba oil in it as well. The honey, it smells wonderful like almonds. The almond extract gives it sort of an almond liqueur kind of a smell, but I don't mind that. I actually kind of like it. When I was a kid, a young man, I used to use Vidal Sassoon shampoo and conditioner. This is what this smells like. It always had that great sort of almondy smell. All right. So that's really it. You scrub away any of those impurities and the dead skin on the surface. It's real good for loosening up. I use a scrub several times a day. Not this one in particular, I just made this one. I actually use a coffee scrub almost daily, if not more than once a day. And that's it, and it just rinses nice and clean and smells fantastic and leaves your skin bright and red because all that scrubbing has brought the blood up to the surface. You've removed that dead skin, so those dead skin cells and the fresh younger skin, well, mine is in the 60 years. It's kind of hard to call it younger, but certainly fresher, more supple than it was prior to scrubbing off the dead skin cells. And that's it. Isn't that wonderful? This is in the store already, but you can see how easy it is to make it yourself. I just use my own kind and clean Castile soap that I make here to put this together. You can use either a commercial product or make it yourself. There's so many ways, but I just wanted to share this with you all. Hope you have a beautiful day. I hope your holiday planning is going well, that you're getting to spend time with maybe friends and family online and you're not going to see them. I know that's hard. I do, but we need to try to keep ourselves and our families as safe as we can. And I know that can be tough. I do. And just remember your virtual friends here on YouTube and elsewhere as well. We care about you. We want you to survive this and be healthy. So take care of yourself. Happiest of holidays to each of you. And I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Every day through Christmas. See you soon. Goodbye.